So we'll be starting in 1 minute. The next session. Yes, just let me know when he joins. If he doesn't join yet, can you give him a call and see? So Mr. Roberto Bastillo, yeah. So if he just maybe has difficulties lining up or so, or just. Thank you, so young. Thank you. Just give me a sign. Okay, let's get started on the next session. This is also on circular economy, and it's a session that will showcase how in the Philippines we are actually creating an enabling environment for circular economy, for financing of circular economy, for investment in circular economy, really with a focus on scalable, bankable projects, where we look at how we can transform waste into an asset. So we're really looking at business-driven initiatives, business-driven a shift of paradigm. We really, I think, have a very nice, strong investment team in the Philippines, led by Mr. Arquiles Estrada, and through him we have these business approaches, investment approaches for making a change. So the session will show what we're doing, for instance, with European funding in terms of enabling policy work, particularly looking at establishment of a taxonomy for circular economy. In addition, we're looking at how different kinds of partnerships, public, private sector, can be developed also with local financial institutions to scale up bankable projects. And then we're looking at a number of case studies that can exemplify how these business-driven initiatives can take off, how we can support startups, what it really takes to get to scalable solutions. And this work in the Philippines is primarily financed by the European Union and by Finland. We're going to keep the presentations very short. We have got five presenters and panel members, but they're all going to just give you a little bit of a flavor, a taster of what is being done. If you want to go into much more detail, you're all free to contact these speakers and to contact GGGI in the Philippines and to get more information. But I think this is really to give you a brief flavor. So all our speakers are online. This will help to reduce emissions from flying around the world. And the first speaker we have is Mr. Pratik Kumar, who will be providing information on the taxonomy for circular economy in the Philippines. He's the head of sustainable finance for the APAC region of Empire Global, a consultancy company that we work with in the Philippines, together with the Central Bank of the Philippines. Unfortunately, the speaker of the Central Bank, Ms. Ellen Joyce Sufficiencia, was not able in the end to join us, and that's why Mr. Pratik Kumar is now doing this particular talk. He brings 14 years of experience in terms of circular economy, finance and taxonomy work from Philippines, Laos, Thailand, Australia, Fiji, Cambodia, Singapore, Hong Kong, you name it. So he's got all that experience, and I hope we will learn a lot from him in the next in his presentation. That will be for about 4 or 5 minutes. So can I give the floor to Mr. Pratik Kumar, please? Can we get him online?
Yeah, thank you, Marcel.
Pratik. Yeah.
Hopefully I'm audible.
You're very audible. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Great to meet you all. Thanks for this opportunity. As Marcel mentioned, I'm representing AMBA Global. We, with the consortium with Climate Bond Initiatives, implementing this project of updating the Philippines taxonomy, or the SFTG, with the circular economy objective. Next slide, please. So just to give you some context, Philippines has already published its first phase of taxonomy, primarily focusing on climate change mitigation and adaptation. As taxonomies around the world, it's a tool to classify an economic activities credibly, science-based, to see if it is contributing to one of the environmental or climate objectives. So this is supported by the Financial Sector Forum and the Green Force, which is basically a forum of financial regulators led by the central bank, the Security Exchange Commission, the Insurance Commission, and also an intra-ministerial agency called the Green Force. So in 2024, we had the first phase of taxonomy published. Next slide, please. Which kind of set the guiding principles and the objectives clearly. But in the guiding principles, they do kind of concur that SFTG, or the Philippines taxonomy, is a live document. So they are looking at a phased approach so that it allows for the market to grow and also to provide key references for transparency and accountability. So in the first phase, they focused on the climate change mitigation and adaptation objective. But the project which we are working on with the support of Global Green Growth Institute, GGGI in Philippines, is the SFTG phase 2, which focusing on the circular economy objective. Next slide, please. So why circular economy? Why should it be focused in Philippines particularly? And I think it's pretty clear the cases because there are 4 main drivers. You're looking at resource scarcity and import dependence. Philippines relies heavily on imported raw materials, and it needs to manage its own scarce resources more circular, and also manage its waste also. Resource waste management and economic value is also an important driver because Philippines is the 3rd largest contributor to marine plastic pollution. So therefore, plastic waste management is also an important aspect to it. So considering these important drivers, there's already been substantial focus on circularity in the national global climate commitments and action plan and national policies, including an Extended Producer Responsibility Act set up by Philippines, and also a National Plastic Action Partnership to promote partnership for circularity objectives. Based on this, next slide, please. What we have tried to do with the taxonomy, considering a taxonomy is a reference tool, it's a tool to just classify economic activities and based on its contribution to circularity. For example, we have prioritized important sectors in Philippines that contribute to circular economy objective. This is based on stakeholder consultations, based on brief desktop research, and we have identified 6 sectors in this phase to develop activities and criteria for circularity objective. Please do note this project is in progress currently, and it will be implemented by January of 2026. We are doing expert consultations right now, working with the governance to kind of clearly define the economic activities. And how we go about doing the economic activities is more clear in the next slide. Next slide, please. because the first step of any taxonomy development for a particular objective is defining the objective. And the challenge with circularity is there's a broad definitions globally on circularity. What we have tried to do is be consistent with the definition within Philippines, but also interoperable with, say, the ASEAN taxonomy, the EU's categorization of circular economy, so that there is a clear consistent definition for circularity within the taxonomy. And that is based on these four business models. So the circularity is divided based on these four business models, where we're looking at circular design, circular optimal use, value recovery, and circular support. This enables us to kind of clearly define activities. For example, if you look at the next slide, when we're looking at waste sector, and we were looking at the principle, next slide, please. When we're looking at the waste sector and we were looking at the principle of circular value recovery, what the taxonomy will do in the end for the taxonomy user is to clearly define an economic activity like sorting and material recovery of non-hazardous waste. This is basically an activity which is implemented by local government units, the municipalities, basically setting up MRFs, material recovery facility. What the taxonomy will do is, one, clearly define the scope of eligible assets that will be part of this, that be eligible for the financing. But also in the next step, it also defines criteria to define green, amber, or red criteria, which can help in a financial institution, a project developer to develop their projects based on the circularity principles. If you go on to the next slide, I'll just show you how we classify based on the criteria. This is very consistent with how ASEAN kind of looks at defining taxonomy activities and criteria. So we do define a green criteria where it's focusing on substantial contribution. We're looking at amber criteria based on complementary addition principle, and the red, which is exclusion. What this means, again, I'll show you by an example. If you go to the next slide, where we actually again take the activity sorting and material recovery waste. So if I am a project developer, if I am a local government unit, I need to set up my MRF. If I need to set up a new MRF, I need to ensure my material recovery rate is high. I need to ensure my residue management is better, which is this close to the green criteria. But if I have an existing facility and I want to improve my circularity, again, in the amber, we define measures which can improve your circularity. Apart from this green and amber criteria, the taxonomy will also define generic environmental and social safeguards under the DNSH and MSS, which ensures that there is no significant harm to other environmental and social objectives. So basically, this framework allows for any project developer, project verifier, even investor to kind of assess a project to see if they contribute to the circularity principle. So this normally, this DNSH and MSS in emerging economies are consistent with national laws and standards. So just to wrap up this discussion, the last slide, and we can discuss further in the panel, is that where the taxonomy will be finally used is to kind of give a clear standard for products, helps in faster identification of sustainable initiatives, and ensure enhanced financial practices for better risk management and capital allocation. So this helps not only the financial institutions, it helps the project developers, the project verifiers, and the rest in the whole value chain to ensure more focus on circularity. This is just a brief on the circular economy update. As I mentioned, it's a work in progress. We're looking forward to discuss further in the panel. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Pratik Kumar. I think this really lays the basis, shows the importance of such taxonomy development. The next presentation will be done by Mr. Roberto Bastillo, President of Small Business Corporation. He will be explaining how the circular economy financing facility that is now being established by the Small Business Corporation will support micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises in the Philippines. And mind you, 99.6% of the Philippine economy is MSME. So Mr. Bastillo is president of the Small Business Corporation, which resorts under the Department of Trade and Industry in the Philippines. And it's a government-owned corporation mandated to provide financing and other services to the country's MSMEs. And of course, that is focusing a lot on innovation, but he's also been working on advocacy work in his current job. So over to you, Mr. Bastillo. Very nice that you could join us.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. Can we have our presentation, please? That we have submitted.
The next slide.
Yes, please. The next slide. Oh, thank you. Let me just move this. All right. So I'll skip this one because we've been introduced. We were created in 1991. Okay. Next, by Philippine law. All right. For the past 9 years, we've lent a total of 93.30 billion Philippine pesos to more than 500,000 borrowers directly and through 534 partner financing institutions. Currently, we have 17.3 billion outstanding portfolio. Next slide, please. All right, we have several for in the interest of finance and inclusion. We have identified segments that we focus on aside from the usual enterprises in economic centers that have easier access to our financing facilities. So we're targeting micro retailers, youth entrepreneurs, agri-aqua enterprises, indigenous peoples owned enterprises, enterprises recovering from disasters, small island economies, halal financing, creative enterprises, women-led enterprises, green enterprises, and overseas Filipino workers. Okay, next slide, please. Here are our finance. Can we just skip? All right, next slide, please. I'll skip the detailed discussions. Can we just move on to next slides? I'll just, okay. We have business expansion financing. We have multipurpose loan financing. Next. We have purchase order financing. I won't describe the details anymore. Next, please. We have franchise financing. Okay, next, please. We have enterprise rehabilitation financing for the enterprises, that are adversely affected by disasters. The Philippines is visited by about 20 typhoons or cyclones every year. So this is something that is needed, after ground zero. Next. We have a women's enterprise fund. Next is we have Fala financing for Muslim-owned enterprises. Next. And we have other financing programs. We have of course, our wholesale lending program. About half of our portfolio are lent through the 534 partner financing institutions. We have upcoming receivables financing and creative industries financing, and we have a venture capital program for those that do not wish to be exposed to financing risks right away. So this is equity financing. Next, please. All right, so I won't discuss the general documentary requirements. I understand this change from country to country. Next, please. All right, we have digital solutions for application. So this is to increase also inclusivity and easier access. We have a mobile app as well as a web-based app for onboarding application. Next, please. Before the loan proceeds, we also, can you go back to the previous slide? For loan applications, we have a machine learning based credit scoring system so that we know upon application the probabilities of default. We also are using currently a core lending system and off-the-shelf cloud-based loan management system. And lastly, for loan proceeds, we also basically transact online. We transfer to their bank accounts and or through financial intermediaries in the Philippines, non-bank financial payment channels. Okay, next please. All right. For the next 3 years, 26, 97, 98, we have uh, several policy directions to push green financing and circular economy financing here in the Philippines. Number one, I just discussed this with you. We are incorporating energy efficiency measures in loan renewal applications. And then we're allocating up to 10% of our loan portfolio to green or circular economy projects. And number three, we're also intensifying focus on small island economies, especially those that serve local markets, because this will reduce dependence on transportation using fossil fuels, because the Philippines is composed of more than 7,400 islands. So you can imagine there are many small islands with developed economies that are heavy on the use of um, fuel for transportation, and then because they're very far from main markets. And then, of course, we're supporting projects to move away from dependence on fossil fuels, because electricity costs in the Philippines is very expensive. So we're supporting alternative sources, especially for off-the-grid uh, economies in these islands. It's very expensive to connect them to the grid, the main grid. So like solar panel solutions, gasifiers, and other alternative sources of energy are part of our target financing portfolio. And then lastly, we would like to strengthen our partnerships with our financial institutions, which are small banks, cooperative institutions, private financing institutions all over the country that that we lend our funds to their sub borrowers. And with these partnerships, we intend to push further the institutionalization of CE and green climate financing measures, such as requiring for repeat borrowers or those who renew their applications to adopt at least one or two energy efficiency measure. Uh, I think there was a previous project with the DTI that um, uh, financed by there was a Korean funder linked with with this institution, and there were about 20 different specific measures that can lessen dependency on or increase energy efficiency or lessen dependency on conventional energy sources. So we'd like our repeat borrowers to adopt at least one or two of them until they increase their adoption over time. Uh, why repeat borrowers? Because these have been proven to be very viable. They have good repayment records, but eventually will move towards adoption by all. Right now, it could be a disincentive. It may work against financial inclusion, but as we move along with greater education, information dissemination, and appreciation for these measures and the benefits they provide, then we can mainstream or institutionalize the policy. So, by way of closing, I'd like to relate some of the projects that we have financed along the lines of green financing and circular economy financing. During the pandemic, we financed a business that transformed plastic waste into very, very innovative designs like this one. This is like, this design is made from, disposed, uh, you know, uh, containers of juice, was widely bought in the Philippines and then thrown away. Uh, and this is just a phone holder, but the business actually produced uh, furniture from this material in combination with some wood elements, and they're used in hotels here, and they're now even exported. And this reduced substantially the plastic wastes they're gathered by the community. This business works with communities in the Philippines, and they're helping reduce material waste from plastic. We also have a
Mr.
client.
Bastillo, I think in the interest of time, I have to cut you short. Maybe we can come back to it during the panel discussion.
Okay.
But let's also keep some time for the other speakers. But thank you so much. Really great to see how SB Corps is financing MSMEs, how you're bringing in digital tools as well to enhance the access for people that are living remotely to your finance. So really, I think it gives a very good flavor to the people online and here in the room of how you're operating. So thank you very much. I would like to now move to Mr. Jonathan Abuekrema. He's the Director of Impact Investment Exchange and IIX. They are helping us, that means the Department of Trade and Industry, Board of Investments and GGGI, with the design of the Greenpreneurs Accelerator program. So Mr. Jonathan Abuekrema is the director of IIX. He is in fund management, treasury, and he's an investment banking expert with over 12 years of experience in impact investing and in development banking. And he really has a passion to impact the world positively through finance. So over to you, Jonathan. Looking forward to hear from you.
Thanks, Masa. Good to see you, and good afternoon all. If you can flip over to the next slide, please. Thanks so much. So maybe I can start with a short introduction about IIX, who we are, and then I'll, of course, run through what we are doing with the program with GGI, which is, of course, implemented in partnership with Expertise of France and few local government agencies. So over to the next slide, please. So in terms of IIX, we are based out of Singapore. We are a large fund manager. We have close to about $750 million worth of funds. We are currently one of the pioneers in the impact investment space. We are celebrating our 15th year. So moving on to the next slide. As of now, we've touched over 1.9 million lives, and also, we've concluded over 1,300 plus deals across Asia and in Africa. And also one of our pioneering instruments is the Women's Livelihood Bond, which is going on our 7th issuance to date, which is listed in the Colombo, Singapore Stock Exchange. Next slide, please. So if you see, we've also just grown like a startup in the impact economy. We've started very small and we've grown into a big company of 90 plus employees. We've issued 7 bonds as of now, and we've transferred multiple levels of capital to impact enterprises. So that's a very short summary of IIX, and I'll go through our program, which we are hosting with GGI in the next slide. Next slide, please. Next slide. Yep. So the goal of our program with GGI, which we are doing in the Philippines, is to mobilize investment into green SMEs in the Philippines. So one of the key aspects of it was to source enterprises, develop a program, engage with local stakeholders, which includes investors, ecosystem partners, DFIs, and also SMEs, and also to design a vehicle which can go into the green SMEs. One thing we should highlight is we've also done the market landscape study in partnership with GGI to understand the ecosystem. What we've noted is green entrepreneurs or green SMEs have limited capital or very much of limited support system from the economy, from local ecosystem players to investors. So our goal of this program is to showcase there is key activity happening in the green economy space, identify the key players, map them into each other, develop a fund mechanism as well, because some of these SMEs are green SMEs are at the very lower level of capacity. So they need more hand-holding support and create networking opportunities. In fact, next week on the 6th of November, we are actually having the Green Entrepreneurs Day, where we are hosting 10 SMEs out of our process, which I'll list out next, in participation of close to about 50 investors. Where all the SMEs will have, green SMEs will have one-to-one networking session and also to access capital. So one of the key aspects of this program is to facilitate capital to green SMEs in the Philippines. Next slide, please. So reiterating what I said, we've already completed the report. We are actually going to publish it on the 6th. If in case some of you guys are in Manila, I invite you to join this program. You can reach out to me on my email or on LinkedIn. We can send over an invite across. So we've sourced close to 100 SMEs through our program, which is already done. We've evaluated over 50 SMEs, and now we've shortlisted the top 10 to 15 SMEs. Out of that, we will do a detailed evaluation in partnership with GGI, DTI, and DOST to select the top 3 to 5 who will receive capital investment plus detailed investment readiness support, which we feel is the biggest roadblock when it comes to SMEs in the green SME space in accessing capital. In addition to that, we will be also developing an investment vehicle which suits the local market, which will be taken from the lessons which we have learned from the from the stakeholder consultation, where we interviewed over 50 ecosystem players inclusive of banks, local investors, angel investors, local ecosystem players, universities, and SMEs. So this is a very broad program. It will end next year. So in case if you're an investor ecosystem partner, I invite you to join hands with us in the Philippines. Next slide, please. So this is actually the cycle of a SME in the green SME space. So we support them in the early stage. So in the Green Entrepreneurs Program, we'll be supporting them through hand-holding, advisory support. Then they will get more investment readiness and capital raise support, and we'll continue to support them throughout. So it's basically for the SME when they partners with our program, they'll get access to capital throughout their life cycle of the journey as an entrepreneur. In addition to that, one of the important aspect is the impact measurement aspect, where we'll actually verify the impact which they are doing from a climate and also from a social angle as well. So yes, so that's a very short summary of our program. We invite all the stakeholders to join hands if you have interest in Philippines or in the green economy space. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Jonathan Ababikrema. So really interesting to see how you're able to help with the development of such a greenpreneurs acceleration program in the Philippines. A very practical approach. We now move to the case studies that we're working on in the Philippines, and I'm very pleased to introduce Mr. Pratik Tiwari. He's the CEO of Elcom Carbon Markets, and we are working already now several years with Elcom under the auspices of the Board of Investments in the Philippines. And Mr. Tiwari brings over 23 years of global work experience in relation to particularly biofuels. He has worked in multiple countries, in London, in the Philippines, in India, and his work is very much focused on creating bankable projects, tradable products, as he's doing now in the Philippines with a very innovative project where Elcom is producing or utilizing rice waste, husk and straw for the production of biochar. So Elcom is specializing in carbon removals, which at the voluntary carbon market have a very high price as well, and that contributes to the bankability of the projects. But over to you, Pratik. Very happy to have you here.
Thank you so much, Marcel. First of all, I'd like to thank GGGI and acknowledge this opportunity for us to showcase and talk more about what our project is all about. appreciate that this platform is to spread awareness amongst participants and also to focus on the importance of collaboration. So what I will do, I'll try to, in the interest of time, I will try to focus on 2 out of these 4 slides that we have prepared for this session. And first slide just gives you a snapshot of so far 5 years of our journey in this space. Before I start off with the details, uh, Alcom is a fully integrated carbon project developer. We are a Singapore-based company having projects all over the world, but we take pride in our first project being commissioned in the Philippines. And this is a prime example of public-private partnership. Our first project, Nueva Char, was launched in 2022 in partnership with the provincial government of Nueva Ecija. And what we do there is we take rice husk and rice straw, we pyrolyze it, convert it into biochar and green heat, which then the heat is provided to the local grains drying facility, which is owned by the government. And this impacts and helps the local paddy farmers to dry the grains. So as part of our journey, we started off in 2020 by setting up this company. In 2022, we had our first project in the province of Nueva Ecija, as I mentioned. In 2023, we were the first project developer who was registered with Puro.earth, which is a Finland-based global registry focusing and specializing on carbon removals credits. Again, we take pride in being the pioneer in this space, where we were able to successfully generate credits, monetize these credits, and on top of that, we were able, as part of our revenue share agreement with the provincial government, to share and pass on the revenues and the monetary benefit from these credits that were monetized internationally. And one of our key buyers was an international bank. You can see the logo here on the slide, Standard Chartered. Similarly, some of the other banks are already in discussion with us for long-term offtake contracts, which really helps de-risk the project. As part of that journey in 2023, as mentioned by Marcel, we were then supported by GGGI, especially the Philippines office. And as part of building this awareness, we successfully hosted a biochar study tour, which was also, we had more than 100 participants. We had participants from the government agencies, we had farmers, we had cooperatives, and that was a very successful program. And the idea is that we will continue doing that. And the idea is about capacity building. Of course, GGGI supported us through the GTIP program to scale up. So as of now, we have 2 projects. One is in Nueva Ecija that was commissioned in 2022. The second project is in the province of Mindoro, and that project again was commissioned last year. And now through this GTIP program, where GGGI is supporting us, we are looking to scale up these projects up to 50 units spread across the country, where we take the biomass, which is residue, which is waste, and we valorize it. So if we could move on to the next slide, then I can talk about more how we again, as I mentioned, we cannot bring about this change on our own. We are a project developer, but all our scaling up depends upon what sort of support we get and what sort of collaborations we have in place. Again, we take pride in sharing these names, mentioning and thanking them. International Rice Research Institute, various universities, uh, government agencies, private partnerships with rice mills and agri-processing units. And our model is quite scalable in the sense that it's a plug-and-play model. We build our own pyrolysis equipment. We have a manufacturing in India. The idea with scaling up through this GGGI initiative in Philippines is not only to have technology transfer, but to build that skilled force to be able to operate these plants independently. As part of that, we, again, and this is my favorite part, in the various initiatives, is the TIVET program that, again, in partnership with GGGI, we have developed. We are working on a curriculum that will specifically focus on carbon removals and in biochar. Again, this is in partnership with Department of Education Philippines and also central universities. Next slide, please. Without getting into too much of technical details, if you could focus on this slide, this is a prime example of how we are valorizing biomass waste. So if you could, if you start off from the right side of the slide, we take this waste biomass, we pyrolyze it, and pyrolysis is the process where you can call it, you burn it without the presence of oxygen. And then we get solid, liquid, and gas. The solid is biochar, liquid is the bio oil that we get from the same biomass, and gases are a combination of hydrogen, carbon monoxide. Those gases we use to generate electricity and green heat. Solids in form of biochar is then supplied to poultry farms and also to farmers as a soil amendment, and liquid is then valorized as a finished biofuel. So then we create not only circularity, then we introduce this concept of super circularity, because from poultry farms, when we apply biochar, we also collect the poultry litter, and then we convert that into a organic fertilizer, which is again supplied to the farmers, and that goes back into the same chain. So this is the concept of super circularity, which creates maximum impact and full valorization of biomass. Next slide, please.
We need to keep it short, Pratik.
I'll just take 10 seconds just to show what all have we achieved so far. With these two projects, we already have impacted 1,600 families. There are certain numbers which we can discuss during the panel discussion, and I'll give more details. But again, the messaging from our side is this needs to be scaled up. We cannot do it by ourselves, and we are looking for stakeholder support. And we again would like to thank GGGI for all the support that they have extended, and we are looking forward to working together in the near term and in the future as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pratik. So really very nice, concrete example of how waste is being turned into an asset. Actually, this helps to increase farmers' income, but it also helps to create a stronger and more robust value chain. So our next and last speaker is Mr. Tom Enger. He's the technical advisor for both Alcom as well as for a new company, SAFAL Incorporation, which is SAF, Sustainable Aviation Fuel. So he's going to talk about the rationale and the context and the design for sustainable aviation fuel development in the Philippines, with which we as GGI and their company under the Board of Investments as well as Department of Transport in the Philippines, are really setting a trend. This is the first real sustainable aviation fuel program at scale. And we just had a very nice first sustainable aviation fuel forum in the Philippines. Over to you, Tom, to give us a flavor of what's happening on this front. Thank you.
Thanks, Marcel. Hope you can hear me well. Thanks, everybody, for this opportunity. Today, we're going to talk about the potential for a world-scale sustainable aviation fuel plant based in the Philippines. So just to set the stage for you, the problem statement here is that demand globally for SAF is rising under some compliance mandates and because of the environmental crisis. And prices for SAF are also rising because of insufficient supply. So If nothing is done in the Philippines, then the Philippines Airlines government will have to buy international prices of SAF. These prices are currently north of $2,000 per ton. And that's about 3 times the price of jet fuel. So the opportunity here is for the Philippines to create its own SAF and to avoid paying market prices for SAF. As you may know, the traditional way to make SAF is from a heifer process, but this is using used cooking oil, and the availability of used cooking oil is now very limited, partly because other countries like China are limiting the export of used cooking oil. So Philippines has an opportunity to come in to make SAF from biogenic sources from its agricultural residue. Next slide, please. This is very relevant regionally because many countries are introducing a mandate to blend sustainable aviation fuel in the next few years. Some countries already have mandates, some are introducing mandates, and most airlines will be underneath the CORSIA program for airlines. So this will affect Philippine airlines. Another way I think about this is that Philippines can sell its SAF to other airlines globally. So you can see there is plenty of demand coming and there's not enough supply being produced. Next slide, please. Because of this supply-demand imbalance, there are a number of SAF plants that are being built in the region. You can see this year, Thailand, Malaysia, Taiwan have built SAF plants to meet domestic demand and international demand. And there are more plants, particularly in Japan, coming up 2026. So Philippines has an opportunity with its biomass to create SAF and to sell regionally to meet this demand. This demand profile could be several million tons in the next few years. Next slide, please. So you have heard today from Pratik that Alcom is already an established carbon removal project developer and technology developer in the Philippines, with offices in the Philippines and good relationships here with the government and with the support of GGI, able to develop projects at world scale size. Alcom is partnering, next slide please. Alcom is partnering with a technology partner called Petron Scientech that has experience already of making SAF using the ATJ route. This is alcohol to jet fuel. Okay, so what happens here is that the project will take the corn waste from northern Philippines. You may know Isabela province has more than 1.5 million tons of corn production. So we will take about 500,000 tons of corn waste. This is the corn that is not used for humans, not used for animals. And this residue can be converted to ethanol, which can be converted to SAF. And this is going to be very cost effective because Philippines has a lot of cheap corn waste. You can see thousands of tons of corn cobs lying on the roadside and available for collection. So the byproducts of this project is also to create power, green power, ethanol, and hydrogen. So we are looking in this project to raise $250 million. So this is a world scale commercial size. It needs to be significant size to be cost effective. And this will produce 100,000 tons of SAF. As mentioned, the alternative would be paying $1,500 or $2,000 per ton of SAF. There also will be many benefits locally: creation of jobs, skills training for the collectors of corn and also for the engineers involved in development of this plant. This project is going under feasibility study right now. It's already begun. In Q1, we'll be able to make some reports, and hopefully we will raise the investment to build over the next 2 years. Next slide, please. So in conclusion, we believe that the Philippines has all the conditions for success of this project. The most important thing in any biofuels project is the availability of biomass. The Philippines has abundant supply of biomass, not just corn, other kinds of cellulosic materials. So actually we can scale in other provinces and create SAF from there as well. Technology-wise, ATJ is appropriate, and it is the fastest growing way to make SAF. We have a proven technology partner, which means we have low technology risk. This plant should be extremely profitable because SAF prices are extremely high under constraints of supply availability right now. And as you can see, demand is growing very fast. Now in the Philippines itself, the Department of Energy is undertaking many studies to scale up SAF. You heard from Marcel that GGI is very involved in this process. And we're grateful for the support to help to explain this opportunity for Philippines and for the region. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tom. And really nice to get a bit of an insight in such an extremely innovative project, but then astounding how much opportunity there is, such a huge demand, and then particularly again to turn all that agricultural waste into an asset. That also means income enhancement for farmers. That's one of the drivers as well we need to keep in mind. We have actually only 10 minutes now for discussion. So I will give each panel member one question. I hope you can answer it within 2 minutes. So we go back to Mr. Pratik Kumar. And Pratik, I would like to ask you for your insights on how important is the circular economy taxonomy actually to guide banks and investors in channeling more finance towards circular economy?
Sure. I think the key point I would like to reiterate from my slide is the standards for financial instruments, be it bonds, loans, green loans, especially for project developers and financial institutions. So if you look at a bond issuance life cycle, and if you are looking to align your bond issuance with the ICMA green bond principles, normally there are 4 things that are important: use of proceeds, selection of projects, management, and reporting. And where the taxonomy could be leveraged is to define those use of proceeds and also help in project selection. So this is at the project developer level. It really helps into kind of clearly identify credible science-based projects that actually contribute to the objective which you are planning to finance. On the other hand, when you're looking at the bond issuance lifecycle, when you're looking at project verification, be it second party opinion, verification, certification, that's where again the taxonomy will be leveraged to kind of ensure credible verification if the user proceeds are actually as designed. And again, on the other side, on the investor side, it really helps to leverage taxonomy to assess the credibility of the instrument. And also back in the reporting, when the issuer is reporting back to the investor, a taxonomy provides a framework for reporting. So I think when you're looking at sustainable finance products, a taxonomy is just a reference tool during project design, project verification, and project reporting. And that's where I think the taxonomy can play an important role. And one key thing, especially for circular economy, is to kind of consider the challenges the small and medium enterprises do face. And that's where I think when we are developing a taxonomy, we are looking to kind of identify measures or taxonomy criteria that are usable for these small and medium enterprises. Say if there is a financing facility that is looking to identify projects aligned to circularity for small and medium enterprises or startups, a taxonomy should provide a clear guidance for that. Again, this is all for interoperability and credibility in the financing ecosystem. So both the project developers, the financial investors, and investors are on the same page and are based on science.
Okay.
Hopefully that answers the question. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Do we still have Mr. Roberto Bastillo online? Mr. Roberto?
Yes, sir. I'm
Yes,
still here.
okay, great. So, Mr. Roberto, I would like to ask you one question with regard to the work of SB Corp. What role is your financing agency playing in de-risking? And would there also be other agencies, particularly in the Philippines, and other kind of tools and instruments that can be tapped for promoting further circular economy investment?
Well, we used to administer the guarantee fund for small and medium enterprises in the Philippines. It's now taken over by the Phil Guarantee, but we are talking to the Phil Guarantee to de-risk some of our loan applicants. But essentially, we've embraced higher risk appetites in the sense that we do not require collaterals up to certain levels. These are quite high per individual borrower, and then because of that, we don't really require a lot of de-risking mechanisms. We basically embrace the risks of lending to specific target segments, but we compensate with a better, more focused loan management approaches, greater information gathering from our clients so that we could manage them, and then having capacity building programs for targeted segments so that they could improve their efficiencies and be better able to pay their obligations. So it's a combination. And of course, as I said, our earlier policy directions, including strengthening our partnership with our partner institutions who themselves relent to ultimate borrowers. We're trying to strengthen that partnership so that we could also discipline our borrowers under a regime of collateral-free lending and with greater inclusivity and greater access to financing all over the country.
Thank you so much. Next question is from Mr. Jonathan Abawi-Kraima from IIX. Jonathan, from an impact investor perspective, what makes circular economy startups investment ready? And how do you as IIX help to bridge the gap between these often very innovative projects and scalable finance?
Yes, thanks, Marcel, for that question. So I would take that question in the realm of risk, return, and impact. So in terms of enterprise, it's balancing all three. So especially when you're pitching to the investor, you might want to showcase your impact in the circular economy or the environmental side, but that's not enough. In addition to that, if you want to get investment, you need to showcase that the project is scalable. So while the impact is there, if it's not scalable or if it's not growth oriented, you cannot continue making the impact. So that's the second angle. And in terms of third is you need to also mitigate your risk. Risk can be in terms of compliance, can be in terms of AR employees, and also in terms of risks from an investor's point of view. So you cannot take exorbitant risk, but you can take mediocre risk, which can balance your risk appetite as well. So in terms of our program with GGI, what we are trying to do is to help enterprises see how they can scale and in balancing both risk, return, and impact when speaking to investors. Not only showcasing that your product has an impact, but also has scalability to bring continuous return and also continually manage your risk as well, so that your product or service can be scaled at a pace which is good from investors' lens, which not only looks at the impact angle, but also from a risk and return angle as well.
Great, thank you so much. Then we go to Pratik Tiwari. Pratik, can you give us an insight as to how important the role of a facilitating agency like GGI actually is in helping to bring about these very innovative projects, the ones that you're undertaking, like the one on biochar? How important is such the role of such an organization?
Thank you very much. And very interesting question. And I'll try to answer that question, by giving our own example. So when we set out to, install these biochar projects, our business plan in 2020 was to have 5 such units in the Philippines, and that was it. Right? That was our optimal scaling up plan. Start off with 1 and have 5 big industrial scale plants, and then run and operate those plants. Then when we got in touch with the GGI country office through Marcel's team, with Mr. Aki Estrada and rest of the team members. That is when GGGI opened the doors for us, and also not only through introducing us to various agencies, but through those discussions where they encouraged us to scale up these plants. And again, when you are a project developer who's trying to do several things at the same time, it's very important to have an agency like GGGI being in the background, providing you that support, and also it impacts your vision, and that's been the experience in Alcom. Of course, we had ambitions of scaling up YHR projects and some of the other carbon removal projects elsewhere globally. We have a presence in India as we speak. We have 2 plants there. In Central Asia, we're commissioning a plant. In the UK, we are commissioning a plant. But we did not have that vision to scale up to 50 plants, to have that support of financing that we will get. So yeah, I mean, very important. And as I keep saying, we mustn't forget why we are doing this. It's not a commercial activity. Of course, it needs to be commercially viable. We need to de-risk. But as a project developer, we should not forget why we are doing this. And as a project developer, we cannot just go about helping the environment if we don't collaborate. So from a project developer's point of view, very important role of the agency like GGGI, but we need much more capacity building, more involvement of stakeholders. And again, we are more than happy to have participated in this session. But beyond this session, our doors are welcome. Other project developers who are thinking about getting into carbon removals, we are more than happy to share our experiences and tell them not to make the mistakes that we made. Because as I keep saying, we mustn't forget why we are doing this. This is all for environment, and it's shared by all of us. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pratik. I think your last comment is very important. It needs to be commercially viable, but the aim is really to reduce climate change, to help the environment, and as well as to create more green jobs. I think that's really of the essence. So thank you very much for this. And then going to our last panel member, Tom Enger. Tom, can you explain to us how important is the carbon market, the carbon finance, for actually getting projects like the biochar project and like the sustainable aviation fuel project to get them off the ground?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Marcel. So as many of you understand, the purpose of the carbon market is to crowd in international financing for domestic projects. So yes, the Philippines can develop its own biofuels refineries. Yes, it has the feedstock and technology capable of doing this. But when we talk about project financing, the carbon market will subsidize and de-risk the exercise considerably. So a carbon credit for avoiding carbon emissions will help the project to get off the ground with CapEx and also to de-risk the operations. Now, it's also important to say that the international jet fuel market of buyers is the same international market where you will find the financiers. So if you are selling SAF using book and claim system to other governments or other airlines in other parts of the world, then these are the same international companies you will be talking with. They are very interested to co-finance. So I think with GGI's help, we will find that many foreign governments and airlines and oil companies will be very interested to co-invest in a production in the Philippines where the feedstock and the technology and the human skills exists. The final piece, I think, is the government policy in the Philippines. It is in progress, it is developing. So with GGI's help, the Philippine government can align its policy with international market practices.
Okay, thank you so much, Tom, and thank you all the panel members. I'm going to hand over now very briefly to Achilles Estrada, the Senior Investment Officer of our Philippine office, to give some very brief summary of the lessons learned from this session. and for the closing as well of it. Thank you, Aki.
Okay, thanks, Marcel. I am doing the most difficult task now, providing a session summary and a closing remarks. So over the past hour, we've heard valuable insights from both public and the private sector, showcasing how the Philippines is building an enabling environment for circular economy investments and sustainable business transformation. So as we reflect on the discussion, allow me to share some key highlights and takeaways from the session. So on the policy and regulatory framework side, the session underscored the importance of the CE taxonomy in providing a unified language for financial institutions to classify and prioritize CE-aligned investments. It complements the ASEAN taxonomy and supports the implementation of the Philippine Sustainable Finance Roadmap. On the public financing innovations, SBC presented their financing instruments, which I think for high risk, of course, projects like circular economy or green economy initiatives, a blended finance facility that uses grant capital and first loss guarantees to expand MSMEs' access to green and circular financing would be most relevant. On the private sector, engagement focusing on turning waste into high-value commercial products, moving beyond proof of concept models for scalable circular solutions. The biochar was showcased as a carbon negative circular innovation, transforming agri-waste into high-value bioproducts, utilizing carbon financing to enhance the business model, and how private and public partnership de-risk the project and enhance the bankability. On the Sustainable Aviation Fuel Initiative, highlighting how agri-waste or residues can support the decarbonization of hard-to-abate sectors such as transport and aviation through innovative scalable technologies. On the impact and blended finance, IIX emphasized how impact investing and outcome-based financing can unlock private capital while embedding social and environmental returns. So the use of gender lens also investing, green guarantees, carbon performance-linked instruments were also cited as pathways to de-risk CE projects. And lastly, market development and ecosystem strengthening. The speakers agreed on the need for at least project aggregation for the biochar, digital infrastructure. We've heard about cross-sector collaboration to build a robust CE investment pipeline. Data-driven monitoring systems were highlighted as well as key to tracking impact and attracting international investors. So some few takeaways. The Philippines is at a pivotal stage in mainstreaming circular economy principles into its financial and industrial systems. The ongoing development of the CE taxonomy under the Sustainable Finance Taxonomy Guidelines provides a unifying framework to define, measure, and classify CE-aligned investments. And lastly, the session reinforced that the country can position itself as a regional front-runner for CE-aligned green finance by building strong linkages between taxonomy, financing mechanisms, and private sector innovation pipeline to accelerate investments that enable waste to value, low carbon, and resource efficient growth. And on that note, we would like to thank again our speakers and those who joined this session. Good afternoon, and I wish you all a good rest of the day and the rest of GG Week.